Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
How are you all?
Fine, sir.
Okay, again we are back here for the practice of our lecturette. It is one of the conformity tasks of your battery of 9 tasks of GTO. Okay, let me tell you the process. Simply, you have to stand up from your seat, you have to take your card and go out of the room for the 3 minutes. In that 3 minutes, you have to select a topic from the given 4 topics on that slip. Means that slip carries 4 topics, you have to select a single topic and have to prepare your thoughts over that topic in the next 3 minutes. Then after my first bell, you have to appear here, hand over me the card, tell me the topic, and then you have to give your lecturette over your topic. What you have to keep in mind while giving your lecturette? See, simply stating fact is not a lecturette. You have to talk about all the aspect of that topic. All aspect means the social aspect, the political aspect, the economical aspect, the historical aspect, and what should be the way forward. You must go into the chronicle order. First of all, talk about what is that topic. Talk about why it is important in the recent time or in the contemporary time. Next, talk about the elements of that topic. Talk about the advantages of that topic, talk about the challenges that facing in that topic. If there is some government initiative, then you must talk about that government initiatives as well. Then you must talk about the way forward. A leader who manipulate with that given fact and figure and come with a good solution. So try to come over the solution, means the way forward. And finally you have to conclude. On the single bell, you have to rush to your conclusion. Okay? On the 2 minute 30 second, I will give you the single bell. Means it is an indication that you are left with only 30 seconds. Now conclude your topic. At the same time, it is an indication to the next candidate. Okay, be ready. You have to be out of this room in the next 30 seconds. All set?
Yes, sir.
All comfortable?
Yes, sir.
See, this is not the real GTO. This is the practice of your GTO or the lecturette, so that you can be well prepared for your real SSB. Will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let's start the practice.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Abhay Pratap Singh and I am here to deliver a lecturette on the topic Indo-Iran relations. Indo-Iran, India and Iran they share a very deep-rooted cultural ties from a very historical perspective. In the recent geopolitics, the Iran and Russia war that is going on, it is very important for India to hold a stand or be neutral in the current situation. Now, moving on to why Iran is important. The importance of Iran is due to its strategic location in the Middle East and proximity to Afghanistan. It is very rich in the natural reserves like oil and gas. Secondly, we have built a port called the Chabahar port in Iran that is very important and bypasses Pakistan for trade in Eurasian region and Middle Eastern region. Third is the Strait of Hormuz, that is a very key oil transit route present in the Middle East, where about 30% of the world oil trade happens, and it is responsible for 60% of India's oil trade. Now, the key factors that are contributing to this relations are, firstly is the energy security. Iran was a very major producer and exporter of oil and natural gas for India. Also, India has invested in the Farzad B gas fields in Iran. Also, the most of our oil imports before the US sanctions were from Iran. Secondly, the Chabahar port. India has signed a treaty for 10 years to build and manage the Chabahar port in the region, which is also the part of International North-South Trade Corridor INSTC. Also, it bypasses Pakistan for trade in Eurasian region and in Asia and in Middle East. Now, coming on to the Strait of Hormuz, it is a very geostrategic choke point for the oil trade in the world. And now to science and tech, we talk about the ties of informational technology, communication technology. Also, the pharmaceutical companies in Iran are very active from the post-COVID era. Now, coming on to the cultural and educational ties, many of the Iranian students are currently pursuing their studies in India. Also, the Persian influence. Now, the recent developments include the revival of rupee rial trade between the Indo-Iran and the revival of oil imports. For way forward, we may say that it is very important for India strategically and geopolitically to improve and to become a way forward its relation with Iran. Thank you.
Vidya Sandhi Pravachanam Sandhanam, Space Technology in the Service of Humankind. Jai Hind everyone, the topic which I have chosen for the lecturate is India's space program. India's space program is one of the most remarkable achievements in the field of science and technology for a developing country, managed by Indian Space Research Organization ISRO. It has grown from the humble beginning in 1960s for becoming the world leading global space agency. It has had very useful in our country. The Indian Space Research Organization has launched various satellites for the communication, technology, weather navigation, forecasting, and also for the education and remote sensing. This has not only helped in the development of a country but also contributed in global scientific effort. One of the major milestone was the Chandrayaan first mission in 2008, which confirmed the presence of water molecules on the surface of the moon. Later on in 2014, the Mangalyaan mission, which made the headlines across the world and also made India the first Asian country to reach in the orbit of the Mars in the very first attempt and also in the world. In 2017, India launched 104 satellites in a single mission, made a world record. After that, in 2023, India launched Chandrayaan 3 mission, which helped India to understand more about the surface of the moon. It was the first mission which landed on the south pole of the moon and made India the first country to reach in that phase. Also, we have the PSLV rocket, which stands for Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, has a workhorse for the ISRO, which helped other countries to reach their satellite into the space. If we talk about the upcoming project, that is Gaganyaan, which helped India to send the astronaut into the space. It aims to more understanding about the space. You know that space is accessible to all the countries. It will help to more knowledge. If we talk about the advantages of the India's space program, the very first advantage is the better internet connectivity and communication. The second advantage is the weather forecasting and disaster management, and also the monitoring of environmental and agriculture sector. Also, it helps India to boost its economy by launching the satellites for other countries. If we talk about the challenges that India is facing in this field, the very first challenge is we are receiving less fund than other agencies like NASA and ESA. The second challenge is the geopolitical competition across the country. The third challenge is the need of private sectors to make the missions more efficient. India's space program is made a rapid growth in the scientific development and research sector. We need space program exploration for the better economy, for development and technological advancements. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. Governance must be continuous and it should not be interrupted by the elections. Today I am here to give a lecturette upon One Nation, One Election. How many of you heard about simultaneous elections? I think a few. Recently, Ramnath Kovind committee has been constituted to check the feasibility and implementation of the simultaneous elections and gave a nod for the implementation of the simultaneous elections. Based upon that, the government has passed 129 Constitution Amendment Bill for the implementation of this. So let's come into coming to the topic of what is one election and one nation. Conducting of all the elections to the Lok Sabha, state elections and also panchayat elections at one time, and this doesn't mean conducting all together in one day. It is implemented in two phases. First phase to the state elections and Lok Sabha elections, and in the second phase we conduct to the local bodies, to the panchayats. So let's see what are the advantages in implementation of the simultaneous elections. It decreases the economical burden upon the government. Let's see, in 2019 Lok Sabha election cost around 60,000 crore. And it increases the voter turnout. If a person has to vote once in 5 years, his tendency to go and to vote in the elections would be more, and it decreases the implementation of deploying the personals as a security. Let's see some of the disadvantages of implementation of the simultaneous elections. The synchronization of the elections would be a difficulty one. Synchronization means if Rajasthan is having elections at 2026 and Lok Sabha is going to have elections in 2029. That means it is going to lose 3 years of the term, which is elected body. In that way, 17 states are going to lose their term out of 5 years. It is increasing import burden upon our country. More than 50% of semiconductors imports we are doing from the other country. It is a crucial challenge for implementing of the EVM and VVPATs. And the challenges comes to here is lack of awareness and implementing of digital things like C-Vigilance app and online registration for the voters. So the though the one nation and one election sounds to be more ambitious, it requires the consensus between the states for the implementation of the one nation one election in reality. Thank you.
Justice is not served by the words, but from the actions that echoes across border. Good morning, everyone. The topic which I have chosen for my lecturate is Operation Sindur. So first of all, I would like to tell you what is Operation Sindur. It is an retaliation exercise to the direct response to the Pahalgam terror attack which took place in 22nd of April 2025, killing 25 Indian nationals and 1 Nepali tourist. So the term Sindur was given to the operation to pay tribute to the victims, especially to the widows of the Pahalgam terror attack. So I would like to now tell you about what was done under the Operation Sindur. First of all was the termination of the Indus Water Treaty, giving a very clear message to the Pakistan that water and blood cannot flow together. The second was the termination of the visas to the Pakistani nationals and the deportation of the Pakistan High Commissions back to their country. The India also banned all the YouTube media of the Pakistan and their artists and performers. Most importantly, the India also eliminated all the bilateral trade with Pakistan, giving a very firm message that terror and trade cannot occur together. Now, I would like to tell you that what Operation Sindur has achieved. So first of all, the Operation Sindur has eliminated the 9 major terror launch pads in the Pakistan and Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, killing over 100 terrorists and the planners of the Pahalgam terror attack. The second one, that the Operation Sindur has exposed the vulnerabilities of the Pakistan air defense system and surpassing it. The Operation Sindur has also showcased to the entire world the power and the strategic depth which the India's air defense systems is carrying, like S-400, using the Rafale jets, Scalp cruise missile, Hammer missile. The India was able to successfully destroy all the major terror launch pads. At last, I would like to conclude my lecturate that Operation Sindur was not just a retaliation exercise, but it was a firm message to the entire world that India is capable to defend its own territory and its capability to destroy whoever is penetrating its territory. Thank you.
Okay, so how was the practice?
Nice.
What do you think? How's the performance? Better?
It can be done better.
It can be done more better.
Yes.
Okay, some of you have performed okay at means par level, but some of you still have to practice a lot in order to improve your lecturate. Okay, let me give you a brief feedback. Okay, just number 4. Indo-Iran was your topic. You have talked about all the aspect. It was okay. In Iran's relation with India in the defense sector, that's the point that you had left with. You can include in your lecturate. Rest your lecturate was okay. Means you are okay, prepared for your lecturate part. 281. Lot of fillers, lot of stammering was there in your lecturate. Still you need that speaking stamina. Why are you getting nervous by this group? Forget about the cameras. I have already told you. Okay. Just look to your group members. You are here to deliver your lecturate, to tell them about your topic, not to the cameras or anybody else. Even forget the assessor. Okay. Just you and your group members. UNO was your lecturate topic. UNO was your lecturate topic. You must talk about all the specialized agency of the UNO. You must talk about the UNSC reform. That is the core of the UNO, peace and security. And who is responsible for the providing peace and security? UNSC. And we need reform in that. Okay. Rest, please work over your speaking part. 221. ISRO, okay, participation, but as 96 also had the same topic of the ISRO. Your was India's missile program, space program. Okay, okay. Something that you had missed. You must talk about the role of the launching vehicle in the growth of the India's space program. You only talked about the PSLV in the later part of your lecture. You must talk about the PSLV and the GSLV both, along with the cryogenic engines. Okay. You must talk about the space docking. If you are talking about the space program, recently we had done with the space docking. You must talk about. Now we are going to settle our on set space station over there. You must cover all these aspects because these all happened in the recent time. You must include those in your lecture. Rest it was okay by the speaking part. Rest कुछ और एक दो point और है उसको include कर लोगे. Rest okay. 217 Indo-China relation. Okay, you have talked about the historical part. The Pansil agreement, then you have talked about the economical aspect as well. But in that economical aspect, you have talked about what we import from the China. In that, the most prominent one is the pharmaceutical raw materials. You haven't discussed over that. You must include that. Rest, you have to work over your time management because you haven't covered the way forward. और उतने तक बेल आ चुकी थी आपको. Try to end all your points till 2.30 seconds so that you can easily come over your way forward in the last 30 seconds. Rest, speaking part was okay. No issue with that. 164. Start was good. You had started with quote, One Nation, One Election. Talked about the Ramnath Kovind committee. But you must talk about the history of the One Nation, One Election as well. That we already had the One Nation, One Election till 1967. You must include that. It seems that you were in a hurry in your lecture. बहुत जल्दी बोल के ऐसा खत्म करके चली जाऊंगी. Why? Nervousness. You also need to develop your speaking stamina so that you can last here for at least 3 seconds. Okay? Try to chronologize your thought. वो जो 3 मिनट उधर मिलते हैं उसको यूटिलाइज ऐसा करो कि सबको chronologize में लेके आओ. Or what I told you, talk about the historical, economical, social, political and the cultural aspect. You had missed with that. Okay? But with the practice, you will be okay. It was your first exposure for the lecturette ना? उसके हिसाब से तो सही है. 2-3 और प्रैक्टिस लगेंगे तब आप फिर कर ले जाओगी. Try to overcome that. Try to overcome that fear and nervousness. Rest all the things were okay from your side also. Okay, so that's all for today. Again, we are going to meet for the practice of some another task of our GTO, probably for the GP. See you all again. Jai Hind.
Yes, sir.